Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. It's a beautiful Monday. I hope it's a little bit better weather-wise than last week because I swear we had every single aspect of what weather could be. There was rain. There was sunshine, there was cloudiness, and there was also snow. Like, are you kidding me? I thought we were over the snow. I have been just craving to be outside. And the week prior to that, cloudy, overcast. Okay, I get it. It's just March. It's not supposed to be summer, right? Like, it's not June or July. But I would just expect a little bit better weather, a little bit more happiness. I have been trying so hard not to rely on the weather for positivity or any aspect of happiness. I was successful in laying out this week though. The previous week it was overcast. It was really, really windy. I also wasn't in the mindset honestly, I couldn't, the aspect of actually going outside, I had to focus too much on my work. And sometimes if I'm a little stressed, oh, I have to get this thing done, or it's a pain point, then I need the most neat environment, right? I cannot have the wind blowing. I cannot have the vehicles driving past or the birds chirping, even though I love the birds chirping. It's over sensitized or desensitized. It's overstimulating. That's the word I was looking for. It's overstimulating. So I was overstimulated, and it was cloudy the previous week, but last week I got to go outside. I was in a great-ish mind space to type out on my computer, and my umbrella, she's doing so well. I reset her up even after she fell down the little hill of my house, and I laid out there. I have been listening to this month's book club book, which is the most fun we ever had. It honestly is so heart-wrenching. It's a lot about real life. So it's not even, there's dramatics, but it's it's real life. Okay. Not reality. Well, similar to reality TV where things are mostly, it might be bumpy, but there's no high climax and then really down deep, oh my gosh, none of the up and down. It's more just regular life inconveniences. And honestly, it's putting me through a loop. Okay. It's putting me through a loop. There's 4 daughters and a mother. And it'll flash back and forth between the mom and the dad when they were first having children, raising children. And it really puts in perspective that everybody is just trying to live their own life, right? Everybody is just trying to navigate it. With our parents, it's our parents' first time going through life as well. And although I already knew these constructs, it nails it home even deeper. It has made me so sentimental, so teary-eyed, so sobby. And then my Spotify only allows so many hours. I have Spotify Premium, but you can run out of Audible hours, and I have 2 hours left of the book, and the month does not I need to check when my billing cycle is, but my book club is on the 29th. So only 2 hours left of the book. And I don't know if my Audible listening hours are going to start over, or if I just need to pay, I think it's $12 for the extra 10 hours or whatever. I really need to just finish the book so that I'm prepared for book club. But I was listening to that while I was outside working. I definitely would say multitasking is one of my strong suits. And just being outside was so good. It was so good. I got a little sunburnt. One of the days the UV was a solid 5.5, 6. Okay. We have not had 10 UV days yet. I always try to be outside. I think the sunshine is so good for just like my mind, my body. I always wear sunscreen on my face. I don't necessarily wear like that much sunscreen on my body in these early months of being out in the sun. Maybe I should, but I really haven't. So like my legs got a little burnt. Actually my nose got a little red as well. I want to say it's because of my sunglasses, but it was like reflecting on my face. But other than that, it was so good to be outside. And then Thursday I was outside and I really wanted to be out. And I put on my little swimsuit and I was like, okay, we're going to go outside again. And it was overcast and then it'd be sunny. And the wind was blowing like crazy and it'd be sunny and then overcast, sunny and overcast. Maybe this was Friday. I don't know. But seriously, I was trying so hard to just like be out in the UV. And I always take out this quilt. I have this huge patchwork quilt that I got for my wedding. And I always take it outside because I'm not afraid to get like a little stain on it. I know that sounds crazy, but because it's like such a patchwork, like there's so many colors, like it really, you can't tell if I spill some coffee on it, like if I'm outside, or if it gets like a grass stain, like you literally cannot tell. So I always take that outside. I fold it in half. I put it on my bench outside, which currently my patio bench does not have outdoor pillows. I did go to everybody's been talking about Joann's like big sale. They're closing. Well, I went on, what was it? Saturday. I went on Saturday and it was 20 to 30% off. That was it. Like there was I'm looking for like a 50 to 80% off, this 20, 30% off. No, thank you. Like if you were closing, and yes, like there was some stuff that was like gone, but there was still so much there. And I did go through the outdoor fabrics and I tried to find like maybe one that I wanted, but there was really none that I was like committed to like paying that much and then sewing it, spending a lot of time on it, because right now the outdoor fabric prices are still like $69 for a yard, and it's like 2-yard minimum. Like that's insane. I could just go buy a pillow, and while like my bench is quite wide, the problem is I can't find any patterns that I like at the store. Like it's not the width. Like I already know the pillow is going to cost some money, but it's like, it's ugly. And anyways, so I have no pillows out there currently. That's why I bring my quilt out there so I don't get any splinters in my booty. But I was laying out there and it got overcast and I was like, ooh, since it's folded in half, it's like a little sleeping bag. So I was like in it and covered up completely. And Garrett came outside and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, obviously I'm trying to get a tan, but the blanket was covering my entire body. So you know what? The weather, it's coming together. I will say I planted what were they? I planted like a whole row of bulbs and our gutter kind of got clogged up over the winter, like with the leaves and the blowing. And so like during the fall, there was a bunch of water that like dipped into my front little flower patch, and it like kind of rotted some of those bulbs. So I have 2 of the bulbs coming back up. I think they're hyathas. I need to look up how you say that. And then I have 2 tulips that are coming up from when Birdie and I planted it. And on top of it, I have 2 lilac. I have not checked. There's 1 up in our front yard, 2 I planted like 4 in the back, but only 2 have survived. 1 of the sticks is still out there and it's like not blooming, not budding, but the other 2 are budding. I am so happy to see that they survived last summer because it was atrocious trying to water them all the time. So I'm feeling positive that spring is coming, but I just feel like I'm getting whiplash by all of this weather. And then today I wake up and there is snow on the ground. Like, are you kidding me? It got so like just cold. well, it was raining off and on, right? Like it's cloudy, it's kind of spitting rain. And then it got cold enough that it froze and it was snow. But now this afternoon, all of the snow is melted. And I don't want to say like it wasn't a dusting. Like we probably had like, I don't know, a quarter of an inch or half an inch of snow. Like it was covered on my patio where you could like see the snow, and now it's all melted. So it's like a muddy mess outside, and I feel like my dogs are absolutely so bored. Like I get it too. I would love to go outside with you. It is atrociously muddy. The snow, it's just like a never-ending battle, and it reminds me on, March is just going to be like this. It's going to be wet. It's going to be gross. April is that way as well. In Missouri, April like starts to get like a little bit warmer, so it's fine. But sometimes you have to get a little messy. Sometimes you have to, it gets worse before it gets better. And then once it gets better, May rolls around, and I might be a little biased because May is my favorite month. I was born in May, and April showers bring May flowers. March mud, April showers, they all contribute to like this beautiful May. And even May can be like a little gross, like it's a little muddy outside, all the things, but soon it will all come as planned. And you need the water, you need the mud to grow beautiful flowers, beautiful plants. So I'm trying to keep that mindset. Our back patio still kind of looks like a touch of trashy. I feel like I do this every year. I try to prepare for winter, and then winter comes around and it just destroys like whatever you thought. I had this ponytail palm that I picked up from our friend's plant shop 2 years ago. It was right when she first opened. Maybe it was just a year ago, but, I accidentally left it outside 2 weeks ago. It frosted. I had to cut off all of its like beautiful palm, and I'm trying to regrow it. And I had it outside yesterday. I was like, oh, it's kind of getting colder. Let me bring it in. And I'm so glad that I did, because I can only imagine if I would have had left it out again with the snow, it probably would not come back. It's looking really gross right now. But hopefully she comes together, right? Like I am feeling positive that we're moving in the right direction, even though it feels like winter, even though it is so cold and hot, and it's such like a whiplash. Like you look outside the window and you expect it to be like this warm spring day, and you go outside and the sun is shining, but it is so frigid and the wind is blowing obnoxiously. Okay, I get that the wind has to blow to dry things out, like a huge earth dryer, hair dryer. But with the wind, like there's tornado warnings, and my little sister has spring break this week. And so she was driving to Kansas City because her friend is actually from Kansas, very, very close, relatively to like where I live in comparison to where they go to college at, which is 7 hours away. They flew out of Kansas City to go on their spring break trip, and the wind is so crazy. And I'm just like, so they're up in the air in a plane. My sister Ashley lives in Alabama, and there's tornadoes coming. And it's just like this weather is so dynamic and so scary in so many ways that it's like, okay, like we're in like tornado warnings. And technically I live in Missouri, right? But I'm only an hour away from Kansas. So Kansas, if you think of, I want to say Wicked, but the Yellow Brick Road, Dorothy, what the heck is that actually supposed to be called? What? Why can I not think of this? I'm just thinking Follow the Yellow Brick Road. But you guys know what I'm talking about. The Wicked Witch of the West. What is that called? I have brain rot. I think that's it. Anyways, shit, I cannot think of it. Whatever. Kansas is so close, and they always talk about this movie because like tornadoes, and the like catchphrase, one of the catchphrases is like, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. Like this tornado picks up their house, and that's how the entire what the heck is this movie's name? It is such a classic. It is so good. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it is called. This is absolutely going to irk me. I am so annoyed right now. Like, what the heck is it? Which is really sad because I just watched Wicked in theaters. Well, of course it came out. I keep seeing the ads on Peacock because I'm trying to watch Southern Charm, Winter House, and Summer House. And I just went and saw it and I noticed so mainstream and they're like, oh, this is the replica of the Yellow Brick Road. I don't know. What the heck is it called? Oh my gosh. Anyways, I've seen a lot of people post about it on, one of my friends, she posted, she's like, oh, watching it, 'tis the season, Wizard of Oz. That's what it's called. Oh my gosh. The Wizard of Oz, and watching the Wizard of Oz because she lives in Kansas. She's very close to me. But anyways, it's like tornado season, not very fun. And this will be my pit of the week. Speaking of Hannah, because she was the one who was watching The Wizard of Oz on her Instagram story, on Friday, she has a little meetup club. It's the KC Cuisine Club, and they find restaurants. And Friday, we were going to a place, oh man, I forgot what it's called. I can see it in my brain. It is a Korean restaurant, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, Friday. It was a group of our friends, and we ordered basically the entire menu. It was so delicious. My favorite was probably this like a noodle with pork, like huge pieces of pork in it. It was so good. They also had kimchi fries, Korean chicken or Korean barbecue chicken. Delicious. Honestly, like so fun. But on the way there, this is so annoying. So I drive a pickup, and on the back of it, let's start here. I was on time. I had a little bit of a clothing disaster because I'm in that transition period. The weather has been off and on and just like honestly disgusting. You have to figure out what shoes you're going to wear because it's going to be muddy outside. Is it going to be wet outside? If it starts to rain and you're like walking in the city, like are the drains working? I don't know. So for the last couple events that I've had to go to, I've had like a little bit of a conundrum when I look into my closet. Luckily, Garrett pulled down my summer clothes, but even when I look at my summer clothes, I feel like I've outgrown the person who used to wear those. Not literally, but like figuratively. Like I am no longer that person who would wear that outfit or that print. Like I am transitioning. I am moving on to like a different version of myself, and I don't see myself wearing certain clothes anymore. I've also wanted to completely switch over to all natural fibers. So cotton fibers or linen fibers or wool fibers, like looking into like those natural aspects. Well, I look at all these summer clothes and a lot of them are not exactly what is going to work for me anymore. Which when I went to Joann's, the one thing that I did not buy any fabric there, but I did buy some clothing patterns, because I'm like, all right, like maybe I can make a couple clothes. I know it's just like a hobby, you have to find things that interest you, that pique your interest. I used to make like a couple clothing pieces with my grandmother when I was younger. And I feel like that would be a fun little hobby to do. Like, why not? I have nieces and I have a nephew. Two of my family members are actually expecting come this fall. So, I just envision maybe making some baby clothes for them or making some clothes for myself. Like I remember when I was a kid, like my mom has saved like a couple outfits for me that are, handmade. Like my great grandmother made them for me, or my mom's great grandmother made them for her. Like handmade clothing, it's not something everybody makes a quilt, right? Like I love to make a quilt. I would love to make a quilt, but quilts are like a really kind of big commitment. And like a little dress, I don't think that would be that high of a commitment. Like be fairly easy. You can have lots of colors. I don't know. I'm kind of on this grind. But I was having like a fit in my closet because I hated everything. I'm looking at everything. I'm like, this is disgusting. I always think to myself, like, I wear black on black often. I love black. I don't like decision fatigue. I want to be able to go into my closet and just find something that works for me. I don't want to have to be like, oh, like, does this match? Do I feel comfortable in this? Do I feel confident in this? Like, I just want to take away all of that thought, and I just want to have things that work for me. And it was not working for me. So I ended up just putting on a pair of jeans, a black shirt, and these like little flats that honestly hurt my feet, and I'm donating because they did not, like, I don't want to wear anything that's painful. The strap on the back was like a little short, so it was kind of pinching, and they were like a pointed toe. It was just uncomfortable. So I'm going to donate them. Like, I don't want anything that's going to cause pain, but I get everything together. I get in my vehicle. It's overcast. Like, this is the day that I was trying to lay out, and it rained on me. It's raining out. The wind is crazy. By the time I left, the wind was like dying down, the rain was dying down. The wind was still at full blast. So I get in my vehicle, I start my favorite podcast, and I'm like, okay, like, we're going to dinner with some of our very good friends. It's going to be a blast. We're trying this new restaurant I've never had before. I love Korean style food. I think it's so tasty. I love a kimchi. I love a fermented food. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. It was a long week. And as I'm driving, I can feel the wind is just so insane. Okay. And like, it's just so windy, right? You can hear it, you can feel it. And I'm like, all right, like, I'm driving. And there's a point on the exit for Kansas City that there's like a 4-lane, and people are merging on and they're merging off. So first you're merging, like, do you want to go to Kansas City, or do you want to go to Wichita, or do you want to go to, not Joplin, I forget where. Anyways, so like, there's different exits as you will. And I take the exit for Kansas City, and it's a four lane, and it's 4-lane because people are merging on and people are also merging off. And as I'm merging on, I'm picking up speed, and it's the 4-way. And then in like 2 or 3 miles, or maybe a mile, 2 miles, there's an exit for Bannister, and I hear this like whoosh. And the back, my pickup cover, so I have a cover on my trunk on the bed. I have a cover because I haul things. Sometimes I like store items that I buy or whatever. Like, I just have a cover on the back of my truck. It makes me feel safer that nobody's jumping in the back. Like, it locks. It's really nice. I don't know what happened, but it flew off. I am thinking from like the wind and the vibration, like, it's very scary. This thing is huge. It's kind of heavy, and I see it fly off, and my heart sank. Honestly, like, this is rush hour. It's like 5:40, and there are vehicles just driving. It's a 4-way, and the cover of my pickup flies off. I'm so grateful that it did not hit anybody, because if it hit someone, like, that could cause like such a big accident. So I'm so grateful for that. So I pull over right kind of at the exit. So there's an exit to my right, and I drive up and I stop because I know that I need to go get it. It's now in the middle of the lanes. People, like, if they run over it, like, that's not super great for their vehicle. It's also littering. Okay. So I pull over, and the wind is whipping so much. I now have to walk probably like 4 or 5 light poles to get to where it's at. It's in the middle of like the second to like 4th lane, not second lane. Like, if you're counting the lanes left to right, it's on the 3rd lane. And I need to walk across traffic. It's also a merging lane to take the exit. And I'm so pissed. I'm just like, you're kidding me. I was supposed to be on time. Now this has flown off. I don't know why it's flown off. Like, it has fasteners, like, it secures and it like puts it down on your vehicle. So it's never flown off for me before. And so I have to walk to it and pick it up. Okay. If it's in 3 sections, I pulled it onto one. It's not another. It's heavy. And now I have to walk in the wind back to my pickup. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, I left my cell phone in the pickup. and it's unlocked. So because I'm like, oh gosh, I need to go to dinner. This has just flown off my truck. I need to go get it so someone doesn't run over it. I need to be quick with it. And I'm like, what if someone just like pulls out in front of my truck, hops in my truck and takes it? And now I don't have my cell phone. I don't have my keys. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, oh, I need to do this very quickly. And I pick it up and it's heavy, right? Like this covers the back of my pickup. And it's also got to be heavy enough and secured because it's not supposed to fly off. So I don't know why it's flown off. And I need to haul it back to my truck. And because it's like this huge flat, now it's like folded in 3. The wind is like pushing on me. It's awkward to carry. I now have mud on my jeans. Like I was already mad about my outfit attire and now I have mud on my shirt and my jeans. I'm pissed. So I take it to my pickup, put it in my pickup. It felt like forever. Okay. Because I'm like watching the cars, watching the trucks, watching the semis that are driving down the road. And I don't want to get squished. I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like, a car better not hit me. Like, I know it's my fault. I know that something happens. Accidents happen. I'm so glad that I didn't hit anybody. I get it back into my pickup. I start driving. Successful mission, right? It felt like forever. It only took me 7 minutes and I was booking it. Okay. My arms felt tired and I was kind of out of breath from like walking down there. Plus I told you my shoes hurt so bad. Like it was ridiculous. I put it back in my pickup. I immediately called my husband and I was like, this just flew off. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's a piece missing. Like I haven't been in the back of my truck for a while. I immediately blamed it on him. I was like, excuse me, why is my pickup having like, he just said, oh, I'm sorry, babe. I was like, that's why I thought it was your fault. Anyways, I'm so grateful. Thank God that nobody got hit. Like seriously, it could have been a bad situation. I'm very grateful that it didn't, and I'm glad that I got it in my vehicle. But because I always have my GPS going, I know it took me 7 minutes. I was like, ooh, 7 minutes? Like, it's kind of a long time. Not really. It felt like forever as I was watching all of these vehicles just like whip. But yeah, Wizard of Oz, like the back of my pickup literally flew off. And then, so I get to the restaurant and I texted Hannah. I said, I'm so sorry. Like she had texted me, be safe in the wind. See you soon. I said, I'll be there at 6. Then I texted her. I said, be there at 6:07. It took me 6:15 to actually arrive. Parking was atrocious. Okay. Everybody's celebrating St. Patrick's Day early. I get it. Okay. Couldn't barely find parking. And so I was a little bit late and I felt so bad. But as I walk in, I was like, hello, how's it going? And my friend Abby was like, did you, I'm so glad you're here. Did you have problems? I like sat down next to her and she was like, I think I saw your pickup. I'm like, yeah, that was me on the side of the road. She's like, I saw something fly up. She was literally like right behind me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm so like, one, I care about everybody, right? Like I do not want to cause harm to anybody ever on the road, not on the road. Like I want to protect, right? Abby could have got hit by it. Like she could have saw the whole thing. Like that's horrible. I don't know. Like I'm so upset that it flew off. I know it's just like one of those things. The wind was seriously absolutely atrocious. Like the wind must have just like got enough air under it and like broke one of the fasteners. I don't know, but I'm seriously so upset. I don't know if it's like broke. I threw it back in my pickup because I've had it before. Like there was this little plastic piece on a previous pickup that I've owned. It was like a plastic cover so that water wouldn't get into your tailgate. And that flew off when I was in college, like freshman or junior, I don't know what year. Anyways, it flew off and I did not go back to get it. My dad was like, oh my gosh, like, why did you let it fly off and not go get it? Like that piece is like, it's such a weird piece to order. And I bet it costs probably like $100+ to reorder it. So I was like, I always like, if something flies off, you got to go get it. And also it's like this huge thing. Like, I don't want to cause anybody to accidentally run into it or anything. Like I want to make sure that I'm keeping the roads safe. Like everybody else, like pick up what you drop, right? But yeah, the winds just seriously, I felt like I was in Oz. And that's just a good lesson in being safe on the roads, paying attention, because I can only imagine, like, what if I didn't notice it, like flew off? What if I just left it in the road? I don't know. So that was definitely the pit of my week. But let's talk about the peak of my week. This week, well, Saturday was my first Saturday practice. So I took lessons in tennis in February. Okay. And practice was on Monday and Wednesday. It was for an hour. It was really great, really fun. I learned so much, but also nothing at all. Like, I don't know. I've never played tennis up until this point. So everything is like a learning opportunity. I didn't even know how to hold the racket. And so I took lessons, and then I ended up getting a membership for March. And this is like the first week. I graduated March 3rd. Technically, they're like, all right, like this is the program we have. And then so I started at a 2.0, which is like not even graduating. It's like the bottom, right? So I went Monday and I went Wednesday, and then the class on Saturday last week when I went thrift shopping was filled up, and so I couldn't go. And then Monday Monday was also filled, because you have to like get onto a class before like it fills up, because there can only be so many people in a class, right? You can take unlimited classes. You just have to be on the ball to like get into a class. So Monday I actually ended up just like playing tennis with Abby, which was so fun. We went to like one of the courts in Lee Summit, and we like played, I don't know, like an hour and a half, or 2 hours, just like bopping around, like hitting the ball kind of. Seriously, just had fun. I am not like good enough to play a game yet, especially like one-on-one. I don't know what that's called. I know there's like doubles, but I don't know. It was just like me and her, which I know. Listen, I need to educate myself on tennis, because it's like this romanticized thing, and I have so much fun doing it, but I literally know nothing about the history, nothing about like the icons. I obviously love Serena Williams. I don't know anything about her journey. I know there's a documentary about her and her sister. I know that there's like amazing tennis players. My introductory was watching Challengers with Katie and Alexis it was around this time. I think it's been 1 year anniversary. Crazy how time flies. But I'm just thinking, okay, like this time last year, like what I was doing in comparison to like what I'm doing now. And that just goes on like having the, what's it called? Being close to your goals and like making them come to fruition. So not manifesting, because I don't like necessarily love that term, but alignment, like just bringing yourself in alignment with your goals of like, hey, this is something I want to do. How can I like put myself in situations where I am like very close proximity to the thing that I want, and then we come into alignment, and it's like, oh, like this is part of my life now. And tennis, like I seriously, I need to know more about it and the history and everything. But I also think like the being naive, the naivety of it, of being like, okay, like I want to do this, and I know people start at like 4 years old playing tennis, and there's so much to learn still. But right now I'm just like finding so much, it's fun for me. Like there's no, if I'm bad at it, nobody's taking away my birthday. I still get to like have fun. And I feel like as adults, we're sometimes so like scared to try new things. We're so scared to be a beginner or be bad at something, because it's like, oh, if we're bad at something, like we're no good as a person. And like we take it so personally, and it's not anything like that. Like you can be bad at something and still like want to improve. And I just always go back to like, nobody's going to take away my birthday if I'm so bad at tennis. Like I could never hit a ball. And sometimes like I don't hit a ball. I would say like as a kid, like my hand-eye coordination probably not the best, but like you have to work to improve it. Like it's not gonna just like magically be better, right? Like you have to do something, and I have just been finding so much fun with it. So I practiced with Abby on Monday, and then Thursday was my first time doing it with like the bigger, or third time with the bigger group. But this Saturday, it's a longer practice. So it was like an hour and a half. So much fun. Oh my gosh. We played like way more games, and there was more people in it. I had a blast. Okay. Tennis has just been like a peak for me. It's something that I'm looking forward to. It's something that like brings me so much joy. And right now I feel like there's a lot of things in my life, if I'm bad at it, then it's going to have like direct repercussions. So if I am like bad at work, like things don't get done, like I'm going to have direct repercussions. If I'm not good at my podcast, like I'm going to have direct repercussions, or with my meetups or my workouts too. Like, but that's not where I was, meetups. I was going to say meetups, like my meetups, my social club. And so like, there are so many areas that I do for fun, but like it's a direct correlation with like where I stand in society. But like tennis, like who cares? Sewing, I was just talking about like sewing baby clothes or sewing myself a dress. Like even if I'm so bad at it, who said I had to give the dress to anybody? Like I could seriously take out all the stitching and try it again. Like learning is such like a dynamic thing, and I believe like we're meant to continuously get better. We're meant to try things and be bad and improve, and just the progression of our life. So tennis has been so much fun. And Saturday, it's like a midday tennis thing. So in the afternoon, I have been trying to be equal to the time that I'm spending like working my brain and trying really hard to like achieve things or move the needle. And then also having times of like great relaxation, great rest, being present, being mindful of where I'm spending my time. This past week, it's been a week and a half. I've been using this app called, what is it called? I think a lot of people have heard of Opal, and Opal is like a time blocking app where it will reduce your screen time. The only problem with Opal is it costs like $60 or $70 for the year, but that's still a lot of money for something like you could set your phone up in the settings to have like some sort of like screen time resistance, or where it's like, okay, you want to only do it for 2 or 3 hours, like it's only going to be 2 or 3 hours, right? Like the restriction, that's what I was looking for, the restriction. And then for my phone, I found an app that was like very equivalent. I cannot think of the name of it right now. I have been using it for a week and a half. It cost me $20, I believe, for the year, which is way better. $40 difference, right? And it will block the app, and you can set a strict mode on it where you can try and delete the app, or like get into, say, TikTok. Okay. I love TikTok. I find that I doom scroll the most on TikTok. But instead of me being able to bypass it, like on your phone, you're able to like bypass certain apps. You'll be like snooze or like, open anyways, and you just put your phone password in it. This one, you can set it to where during the time. So I've set 9 to noon, and then 12:30 to 3, and then 3:30 to 5, my apps are blocked, like my social media apps. And that allows me, like, even if I wanted to get into Instagram, I think I have one time I can get into Instagram if I want. I put in the password or whatever. And it also like, I haven't done it yet, but from what I was saying, it like makes you like take a breath. JOMO. It's called JOMO. it makes you like take a breath, or it's like, okay, be intentional before you open the app. And so I've done that, and my screen time and my productivity has gone up immensely, because I'm not like being so distracted. It's like an email that comes into your inbox. It's like, oh, I have a notification. Let me check the notification. And it's like, oh, now I'm scrolling a little bit. It's been 5 minutes. I'm going to put my phone down, and I start working again. Then my phone buzzes. Then I pick it up. Then I'm like, what is this? Right? So it's called JOMO, and I have it blocked off, like I said, 9 to noon, 12:30 to 3, 3:30 to 5, just weekdays. I'm trying it out. I've done it for, like I said, a week and a half. So good. But when I'm like, oh, I need to pick up my phone, or I want to do something, instead I'm like, okay, how can I like get this work done? How can I like be so focused to get this done, so then I can have like a little break, so then I can get up, stretch my legs, get the wiggles out, any of those things. And I find that like I am doing better at like using my time wisely. And instead of just like consuming so much content, I'll ask myself sometimes like, oh, like, can you remember what you consumed in this like time that you've been on your phone? So I've been using JOMO. It has been great. Like I said, it's only like $20. It blocks the app. And during the strict mode that I have set, I cannot bypass it. And I also cannot delete JOMO or delete TikTok, right? There's no way to like get around it until the time has passed. So you almost feel like an addict. You're like, oh my gosh, like I need to have this thing so much, but there's like no way to bypass it. There's no way to like get around it. So I find that nice. Like I like it. And I wish I had the discipline to like do it without an app, but that'll come, right? Like discipline will come, or even the like want to do other things, replacing it out, crowding out the bad habits. For myself, like I'm taking a look of all the energy that I've been using, all the things that I've been doing. I really want to reduce decision fatigue. I want to maximize the time that I have to create. How do I do those things? I reduce the distractions in my environment, and a huge distraction can be my cell phone, because I'm getting notifications, or I'm getting breaking news. They always say breaking news or something, or what's it called? You might like this or whatever, it'll like pop up. And I'm trying to reduce the distraction that I have in my environment. So that means I'm picking up, I am going through my closet, I'm seeing what items I no longer use or no longer align with. I am going through my cabinets. Oh my gosh, like going through, I think it's been 2 months now. We're on our second month, maybe. I went through our cleaning supplies. And so I completely threw out anything that had harsh chemicals. That's something that I feel very, very strongly about. So I started using Branch Basics. I have it for our laundry soap. I have it for our dishwasher. I have it for our counters, like our bathrooms, our mirrors, like any additional chemical, like I threw it out. So I went through like my bathroom cabinets, and I love to just like go through audits of different areas. And that way it's not overwhelming, because it's like this weekend, I'm going to do the bathroom. Okay. I'm just going to take a look at the bathroom cabinet. I'm going to clean it out. Anything that I do not align with, I'm going to throw away or donate, right? Like, and getting rid of that stuff. When you have, instead of like shoving every little thing into your like bathroom cabinet, instead of like trying so hard to get it all to fit in and to things fall when you open it up, like that's not the energy I like. That I don't want to open up a space, open up a cabinet drawer and feel so overwhelmed that something's going to fall out, or it's like stacked on top of things. I hate that energy. I hate how that feels. I don't want to feel that way when I open up a cabinet. Instead, when I open up a cabinet, I want it to be very clear on the different areas, right? Like these are where the towels are. These are where my diapers Dyson hair blow dryer is. Like, I want very distinctive areas. And I also don't think that like empty space is bad. Like, I like to be able to see the products I have. I don't want it to be cluttered. I don't want it to be like products I'm not utilizing, especially expired products. Like, there are so many expired products that I had to get rid of. I'm like, I haven't used this lotion in years. Speaking of lotion, I've also like completely removed any sort of scent, like manufactured scent. I don't want that. So the Scentsy, like I used to have this overflowing little drawer in my laundry room that had Scentsy. It had like flavored smells, I don't think that's right. Flavored smells. No. But I had like fall scents and spring scents. And I did not read an article. I did not read an article. I don't think, not for this one. I'm pretty sure I saw it or I listened to it or some way I've consumed the material that those wax melts put so much toxins in the air. And I'm like, ooh, no, like I thought Scentsies or wax melts were better for you because it's not like a burning flame. Although I love a burning flame. I love fire. I think it's great for your psyche, right? Like that old part of your brain seeing a fire, right? Whatever. No, I threw all of those out. It's like not something that's aligned with me. It's not something I like. I did a whole episode about this. I went through our pantry. So I was trying to use up items as well. Like I love seeing an empty fridge. I know this sounds like so bizarre because you want your fridge to be full. Like you want to have food, you want to have items in your pantry. But to me, if there's like a little bit of space, if there is area where it's blank, I want to be able to see every single item in my fridge. I want to be able to see everything in my pantry. I want to be able to monitor the dates of products, right? Like I want to be like, oh, like we need to use this up because we bought it last week or 2 weeks ago. Produce goes bad so quickly. And I find when my fridge is completely packed, I can't even see it. That's when it goes bad because I didn't see the item. It's shoved in the back behind the milk. Like there are things that we utilize every single week. We're running out of them. We go through about a gallon of milk a day. Oh my gosh, that would be insane. A gallon of milk a week. Okay. We go through a gallon of milk a week. We go through about, a quart of heavy cream every 2 weeks. Our eggs, we go through about 50 to 60 eggs a week as well, or every 2 weeks. I don't know. We're always having to buy these items, but it's like those specialty items that you purchase and you're like, oh yeah, like we needed this for like a special dish. And then you never go back to it. You never utilize it. And then you're throwing it away. And then it's time to make that dish again. So I went through our entire cabinet and I have been on this like kick of saving jars. I feel so bad like throwing away a jar with a lid because I'm like, I need to recycle this. Where I live, like there's not a recycling program in any regard. So I just, I've been saving my jars, trying to find somewhere to utilize them. I also know like at thrift stores, people sell like jars as well. It sounds insane, but they do. Or like old wine bottles, like people decorate with these, but I'm leaning into the space and I'm trying to figure out how I can utilize glass bottles. And it also puts it in perspective because I am really trying to reduce our plastic use or like purchasing items that are plastic. Or if I look at like the glass jars that we have, I'm like, oh, like if I would have bought a plastic alternative, I would have thrown it away and it would have gone into our landfill in comparison to like, okay, I bought this glass jar. It had pickles. Like I am a fiend for pickle jars, like the, Clausen cold pickles. It's like cold pressed pickles. Those are my absolute favorite in the slices. I do not like I don't like the, little quarters pieces. I don't like them sliced like that. I don't like them in quarters either, like the 4 quarters, and I don't like them in the little like coin pieces. I want them in slices where like if you stand the pickle up and then cut it on the sides, I like that kind of slice. Those jars are perfect for sourdough when I am like mixing out my jar. So it's like the perfect depth for 200 grams to make like my sourdough bread. So I love that. I also have like the perfect jar that I got from a tomato paste. I got a jar from a tomato paste, and that's actually my favorite for doing my like little starter, like not a bulk ferment. So I'm using the jars on that aspect. And then I think, oh my gosh, like I'm collecting all these jars. Like I needed to stop buying glass jars. And I think, what am I buying of glass jars? This summer, can I grow something in my garden where I'm utilizing like my mason jars and I'm canning it and it's more of like a recycled thing? Then okay, like I'm buying this tomato sauce from the store again. It also makes me think I need to lean more into going to the farmer's market, leaning into getting produce direct from the person where there's no trash. There's no like discard of plastic or bags or packaging, right? So it's like, okay, it's going into all of these things, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually like the reduction. If I do a little bit more work, then I'm able to not have the waste, not have like so many garbage bags, not have like so many jars in my bin that I'm saving. But however, I did go through a couple of the drawers. So there was like 3 drawers that really needed to be looked at in our pantry. And I had like a couple random flowers in there. I had like baking during Christmas time is so big, right? I had a partial of pecans. I had a partial of walnuts. I had some craisins. I had raisins and just like miscellaneous of things. I think being able to see everything in your fridge, being able to see everything in your pantry is so good because then you're able to think of creative ways to use those items. This weekend, I made carrot cake because I love carrots, and they say raw carrots is so good for your hormone health. And so I'm like, all right, I always like to have carrots on hand. I also like to have apples on hand, which just reminds me, I did not put any apple into this carrot cake. I should have done that. But instead, I utilized my apples and I made apple juice. I threw out the pulp, which I'm kicking myself because I've been doing grapefruit juice every single morning with my beauty water. And it's been so good. I think they're actually changing the name to Beauty Salt. I just got my second order of it, and it said Beauty Water on it, but on their website, it says Beauty Salt. So I think they're transitioning. However, I've been using grapefruit juice, my Beauty Water powder. It's like colostrum, it's pearl powder, and it is Celtic sea salt. And I've been also mixing it with like coconut water, liquefied, right? And I mix that up and it's so good. But with your pulp, I'm like, what do you do with all the pulp? Like, you're throwing away such good fiber source. And I was like, how can I use this? How can I bake with it? I was thinking, all right, maybe I could put it in a bread, which I wish I would have saved the apple, but I did throw out the apple before I was like thinking all this through. Or even having the energy and the space. Like I said, I've been working really hard. I've been trying to find the balance of doing something productive, right? Like, I'm not rotting in bed, but it's still like good for my brain. It's still like very active, very good, right? So I'm thinking of all of these things, and I decide, you know what? Like, I have some sourdough discard. What if I make grapefruit crackers? That sounds absolutely insane. I know. I was at first thinking like maybe fruit leather, but fruit leather kind of takes like a long time. And when I was looking up recipes, it was like things that you had to mix with it. And I didn't have some of those things. So I was like, you know what if I mix this with sourdough and I just flavor it with this grapefruit? So I made grapefruit crackers, and let me tell you, they were so good. They were so addicting. I was watching Southern Charm, and I was like waiting for them to finish. It took like 2 hours for them to actually get hard like a cracker. In comparison, like my regular sourdough discard cracker recipe probably takes like 40 minutes. It's not very long, but this was taking much longer. And I was like munching on, first I had to wait for it. It took like 2 episodes for it to finally, I had my whole evening routine. I was munching on my crackers. So I was like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so good. But I would not have thought to do that if I wasn't utilizing the materials in my fridge, right? I'm always buying grapefruit. I'm always trying to buy apples. It's an easy snack. I like apples. The dogs like apples. And I'm trying to diversify my diet and so many aspects. It's also spring, so it's like, why not lean into like some fruit? Having those different sources of food, something easy, something quick. But I was juicing them. And I was like, all right, got to utilize, these oranges have been in here a little bit, so they're looking a little sad. Or going into the pantry, seeing, I had like 4 dates in a package, like just 4. It was almost empty, but I have not been in the mood to eat dates. And I was like, you know what? I can chop some dates up and I can put it in this carrot cake. And then I also put raisins and the craisins and the pecans and the walnuts. And I chopped all of those up. I had a whole bunch of carrots that needed to be used up. And I wouldn't normally have made carrot cake, or I wouldn't normally have, I juice like apples. Juicing is like such an expensive thing to do because it takes like so much of it. And then you have all of this pulp left over, which now I know I'm going to make sourdough crackers with the pulp, or I'll find some other creative ways. I'm really, I don't know, I'm kind of excited. But again, like these are ways that I'm not working. There's no downfall. If the sourdough discard crackers with the grapefruit in it, if they taste like crap, like who cares? I tried to do something. It was 2 discard things, right? Like you throw away the pulp, you throw away the discard if you don't use it, or if it kind of like starts to go a little rank. But I'm utilizing things in my kitchen. I'm reducing the amount of just like clutter. I find that clutter is so draining, and like moving items from like one area to the next, like it's not good for your overall mental health. Like I want to be able to like lean into spaces and think I'm going to be able to relax or rejuvenate my brain or be able to like focus on other things than, oh gosh, like my pantry is so cluttered. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what's good, what's bad. So I'm just going to order out. And that is taking away from like financial goals or health goals, or even like, it's not even good. Like so many times I will order takeout having this like grand expectation that it's going to be so good, and it's disgusting. And I'm like, this is horrible. I should have just made fried rice. I should have just like made my own orange chicken. Like there's so many things that I could have made. I'm also just like being so meticulous about my health in general, like with the cleaning supplies in my home, with the oil that I'm using. We haven't used canola oil for like over 6 years. Like it's before I got out of college. Like I haven't used canola or vegetable oil. I've been utilizing olive oil and avocado oil. And I know people have things to say about those too, but it's like always trying to like get the better alternative. And then here I am like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed because my pantry is just so full. No, like I went through it and I felt so much better. Like the pantry, I try to audit like every once in a while, like all areas, right? Like you can get it perfect to an extent, and then life's going to happen. You're going to get busy. Like I'm trying to avoid those things, like the thought processes of, all right, like I don't want this to be overwhelming, or I want to reduce my waste in the world, or I don't want like plasticware. So like then you start like editing your habits and like how you're consuming product to be different. So I know like some things will improve over time, and I'm not going to like be doing those things anymore. But it's also the aspect of like, okay, you can take one area of your life and start editing it and start auditing and be like, how can I improve this? How can I do something different? Just like my closet. Like I haven't done my closet for a bit, but every spring I try to do my closet. trying to do my pantry, trying to do my fridge, like any of those things. And I just firmly believe that less is more. Like I feel like I'm experiencing life at a better caliber when I'm not so overwhelmed with like so much other clutter. Like when I can look at it and be like, this is a clean space, or there's area for more, right? I like seeing gaps in my fridge. I like seeing gaps in my pantry. I like seeing gaps in my closet, because then it's like, when I find that thing that I want to add, I can add it and it can make me feel good, instead of like things are literally falling out and I am so overwhelmed. I don't know, maybe I'm just in like a space where things are going awry, and so I need to have control over my environment in so many different ways. But also, like, what's the downfall of that? Like, there is very little to none, right? Like, I'm creating the space I want to live. I'm reducing waste in my pantry and in my fridge because I'm utilizing the ingredients that I'm buying, which in turn is healthier for me because I'm not just picking up takeout and not doing any of those things that wouldn't benefit me in the way that I wanted. So less is more. And where can you look at your schedule? Where can you look at maybe your social media apps, where you're like, I'm on my social media apps all the time. Like, how can I reduce that time? Because for me, like those 30 minutes that I get in between 12:30 or 12 to 12:30 and 3 to 3:30, of course I could use it in the morning and after work, but sometimes I don't even use it for the 30 minutes. I'm more deliberate in how I'm utilizing that space or that item. So where can you reduce in order to have more, like more time or more energy or better food, whatever it is? Like, where can you isolate it? Because I know every single time I start reducing something or kick it out of my life, I feel so much better around that thing. And it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel in control. So I am gonna go cut into the carrot cake that I just made with the clutter and the garbage in my fridge, with the carrots that started looking a little sad, like they were starting to look a little dehydrated in some areas. Yeah, I'm gonna have this beautiful carrot cake in my clean kitchen. I'm gonna feel really good about the entire process of it. And I wasn't on my phone during the entire thing. So you know what? I call that progress. I call that being on the right track and being in alignment with my highest self. So thank you so much for watching or listening this week's podcast episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please rate, review, subscribe, all of the things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.